Chapter 1. Flight by Night. Jacob fled from his brother Esau's wrath, burdened by the weight of his own deception. With nothing but his staff, he journeyed toward Haran, seeking refuge with his uncle Laban. One night, under the vast expanse of stars, Jacob lay his head on a stone and dreamed of a ladder reaching to heaven, with angels ascending and descending. The Lord stood above it, promising Jacob descendants as numerous as the dust of the earth and a return to the promised land. Awestruck, Jacob vowed, "If God will be with me and bring me back safely, then the Lord shall be my God." Chapter 2. Love at First Sight. Arriving in Haran, Jacob approached a well where shepherds waited to water their flocks. Among them was Rachel, a shepherdess of striking beauty, her presence radiating kindness. She was Laban's daughter, and Jacob's heart was captivated the moment their eyes met. Impulsively, Jacob rolled the heavy stone from the well's mouth and watered her sheep, a feat of strength born from his fervent affection. When Jacob revealed his identity, Rachel brought him to her father. Laban welcomed Jacob with open arms, but his eyes gleamed with cunning. Jacob stayed and worked diligently, all the while enamored with Rachel. After a month, Laban asked Jacob what wages he desired. Without hesitation, Jacob declared, "I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter." Laban agreed, and the years seemed but days to Jacob, so deep was his love. Chapter 3. The Deceiver Deceived. At last, the day of the wedding arrived. The festivities were grand, and Jacob's heart brimmed with joy. But Laban, ever scheming, veiled his elder daughter, Leah, and sent her into Jacob's tent under the cover of night. When morning light revealed the truth, Jacob was furious. "What is this you have done to me? Was it not for Rachel that I served you? Why have you deceived me?" Laban feigned innocence, saying, "It is not our custom to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill Leah's week, and I will give you Rachel also for another 7 years of service." Trapped by Laban's deceit, Jacob agreed. A week later, he wed Rachel, but his heart ached for the injustice. Leah, though unloved, bore him sons, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, seeking Jacob's affection with each child, while Rachel remained barren and envious. Chapter 4. The Struggle for Legacy. Rachel, desperate for children, gave Jacob her maid Bilhah as a surrogate. Bilhah bore Dan and Naphtali. Leah, determined to maintain her status, offered her maid Zilpah, who bore Gad and Asher. Amid this competition, Leah bore Issachar, Zebulun, and a daughter, Dinah. Finally, God remembered Rachel, and she bore Benjamin and Joseph, Jacob's beloved son, sealing her place in Jacob's heart. Chapter 5. A Blessing Amid Conflict. Years passed, and Jacob desired to return to his homeland. He confronted Laban, who, despite his wealth increasing under Jacob's care, was reluctant to let him go. Jacob proposed a deal. He would take only the speckled and spotted sheep and goats as his wages. Laban, ever conniving, agreed, but secretly removed all such animals from the flocks. Undeterred, Jacob used his knowledge and cunning, placing striped branches near the watering places to influence the flock's offspring. His strategy succeeded, and his flocks multiplied, while Laban's dwindled. Tensions rose, and Laban's sons accused Jacob of stealing their inheritance. Chapter 6. A Divine Escape. One night, God appeared to Jacob, commanding him to return to his homeland. Jacob secretly gathered his family and possessions and fled. 3 days later, Laban pursued him, overtaking him in the hill country of Gilead. In a tense confrontation, Laban accused Jacob of theft, not only of his daughters, but of his household gods, which Rachel had secretly taken. Jacob, unaware of Rachel's actions, declared that anyone found with the idols would die. Rachel, hiding them under her saddle, feigned innocence, and Laban's search proved fruitless. God intervened, warning Laban in a dream not to harm Jacob. The two men made a covenant, setting up a heap of stones as a witness between them. Laban blessed his daughters and grandchildren and returned home. Chapter 7. The Road Ahead. As Jacob journeyed on, angels met him, a sign of God's continued presence. Yet his heart was heavy with the thought of facing Esau. Would his brother's wrath still burn? Though Jacob had endured Laban's deceit and emerged blessed, his true reckoning lay ahead, for he would soon wrestle not just with man, but with God himself. In Haran, Jacob learned of love, loss, and the price of deception. His journey was far from over. The God of Bethel had been faithful, and Jacob carried the promise of a brighter future.